Are you a small business employer and do you know your rights when terminating an employee? I'm Hamish Proctor from Aitken Legal. The Fair Work Act does provide some advantages to small business employers when terminating employees. This video seeks to assist employers by just touching on a few key matters that small business employers should be aware of. Under the Fair Work Act, a small business employer is an employer that has less than 15 employees. If you have multiple businesses that employ people, then it may be that employees in those other businesses will count towards this threshold. If you are an owner being paid a wage, you may also be counted as an employee. Please take advice if there is any concern about whether you are under the small business employer threshold. Firstly, relevant to the qualifying period an employee must serve before they can make an unfair dismissal claim, a small business employer has the protection of a 12-month qualifying period, whilst a non-small business employer only has a 6-month qualifying period. Please be aware that there are other claims that an employee may make and which do not have a qualifying period, and so small business employers should still take advice before terminating to understand their risk relevant to one of these other claims. If you are a small business employer and you do decide to terminate an employee who can make an unfair dismissal claim, then there is a Small Business Fair Dismissal Code which you should comply with and which in theory provides you with a defence to an unfair dismissal claim. All small business employers should ensure they comply with the code and complete the relevant checklist when terminating an employee. However, please note that merely completing the checklist does not mean that the unfair dismissal claim will be dismissed. You will still be put to the test of proving that you did comply with the code, which itself advocates for having a valid reason for the dismissal and following a fair process in effecting the termination. The other key advantage provided to small business employers is that as a general rule, small business employers are not obligated to make a redundancy payment in circumstances where an employee is terminated for genuine redundancy reasons. Please be aware that there are awards which will provide for a redundancy payment even where the business is a small business employer. So please ensure that you review the applicable award or enterprise agreement before assuming that no redundancy payment will apply. If you want to know more about the advantages of being a small business employer or need assistance in relation to any employment law issue, contact Aitken Legal.